All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Beckley Wrestling Show. Today we got a special guest, man, real special for me because, hey, we all from the Whippeal, but two-time ACC champ, All-American Pitt Panther, Cole Matthews. How you doing today, bro?
Doing good, brother. Thanks for having me.
Oh man, I appreciate you taking the time, big guy, more than you know, especially like I said, being from that same neck of the woods. So,
Yeah.
uh, man, just to kick it off, big dog, like what first led Cole Matthews to a wrestling match? How'd you get involved with the sport?
Yeah. I really didn't have an option. Both my older brothers, Adam and Austin, one's 7 years older, one's 5 years older. They both wrestled, so it was just like kind of didn't have a choice. I just kind of walked right into it. Went from crawling to walking into it, I guess.
Did Dad wrestle? Is that what like got you guys into it or anything like that?
Yeah, my dad wrestled in high school. He didn't wrestle in college, but I think it was just a good thing at the time for my brothers to let some energy out, and then they ended up being pretty good at it. And then I was like, all right, we're all wrestlers now.
Might as well check it out. Yeah, because you were. I mean, especially coming out. I mean, Reynolds, like honestly, like you, I feel like you took them to like a whole nother level. Always a good program. Don't get me wrong, but it was like you guys. I think whenever you were there, you guys won two team championships, right?
Yep. So when I was there, we won two dual titles, and then I think three individual like team point titles. Yeah. I mean, we were pretty low.
Oh,
I mean, our
yeah,
team.
you guys were for sure,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. And then I mean you ended up walking out. I mean, what two state championships? You won it your freshman year. What was it? First, third, second, first.
Yep. First, third, second, first.
Yeah, so top three every time coming out. Flo had you. This honestly, it kind of shocked me when I looked because I hit it real hard. Like obviously, like before we took it, I was like, man, like I remember him coming out of high school to where it was like, all right, this kid is one of my favorite wrestlers to watch. Like, or just the definition of a kitchen sink wrestler. Like he will throw everything at you and just pound you into the ground. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely caught my attention. Like without even like I just literally just happened to hit your mat. Honestly, like we were talking before we started recording, bro. Like I was just like and I literally like because like on Flow like you can literally like I'm sure you can literally like hit the bell so like it was like yo I want to keep watching this cat so like I every time you come up it would be like yo Cole Matthews coming up Matt 7 you know what I mean
You turn
so I
those
just like kept
so.
yeah and I was just like man and I think you what did you I think you ended up winning Powerade it was like your senior year junior year
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I won my junior and senior year.
yeah and I was just like and then when I heard you what I loved about the pit commitment which I kind of want to get into a little bit because just because of the simple fact that with you being just Gavin's first recruit man which got to be I think that's cool I a old pit national champ coming back to the alma mater and then to have his first recruit ever like landing you is got to be kind of a special feeling. But what ultimately led to you choosing Pitt? Like what? Obviously, I mean, I know it's close to home, but outside of that, what separated Pitt from everybody else being the blue chip recruit you were?
Yeah. I knew Coach Headley before I knew Keith, but I mean personally, but I knew Keith was at Oklahoma at the time, and then the job opened up, and I knew Keith and Drew were tight, and you figured that it would either be Coach Santoro from Lehigh coming over, or Coach Gavin, and it ended up being Coach Gavin, which has been nothing but great for me. I mean, both
Absolutely.
both are great options, but I first met Drew when I think I was going into my sophomore year, and it was the Fargo camp that they do. And I hit it off with Drew. The coaches do those like for Ohio and PA for like recruiting, and I knew I liked Drew, and that was before Keith got there, and I knew I liked Drew no matter what. So I had my eyes on Pitt, and I was also getting recruited by the coaching staff that's at West Virginia now, but they're at Edinburgh, and my brother wrestled there. So I was like, I mean, I couldn't have went wrong either way.
No, either way, absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm glad I chose Pitt. Everything's worked out great for me. Um, yeah, so I knew Drew, and then Keith got hired, kept Drew on staff, and then it was just an easy decision after Keith got there and Drew was still there. I was like, yeah, it's got to be Pitt.
This is home. Yeah, no doubt. Edinburgh, honestly, I never knew that though. And honestly, I've always had a soft spot for Edinburgh. Always kind of like
Mm-hmm.
lightweight. Like
Yeah.
I always hope they do good. You know what I mean? Like it just being where we're from, and like you gotta hope they do a solid job. Especially, I mean, your brothers being there and stuff. But
Yeah.
and they've always end up with like some kid that like is just a monster that comes out of left field and is like, and I that's where our camps used to be. We used to go to Edinburgh for camp, so like it's always had a little soft spot in my heart for me. So, but at the end of the day, like glad you chose Pitt. I think, like you said, man, like just looking at you, everything you've accomplished and what you're gonna accomplish, like this season, I feel like is huge for you. Like, 'cause, I mean, is this the last ride? Like, or because the COVID year gets me confused with some of it, but this is it, huh?
Yeah, this is year 6. I graduated high school in 2018.
Bro, it's crazy. Time flies.
Right? I mean, it doesn't seem like too long ago when I was a freshman. That's what's weird.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, how? I mean, now it's your team, bro. Like now you're sitting as I mean, how has that dynamic shifted? Like as you came in as a freshman and now sitting here, 6 year senior,
Yeah.
getting ready to go into your final year. All these young bucks coming in, looking up to you. How's that role been for you?
Yeah. I never tried to like be the guy to like be vocally like a leader, but I mean, I don't think we've really had guys like that. I guess like Demetrius Thomas was kind of like that, but throughout the years it was like Wenzel, Meach, Mickey, Nino, the guys that just kind of led by example. So um, I kind of just followed suit with those guys. It was like I didn't have to say anything as long. I mean, Keith was given the words, and we were just kind of leading by example. So
Absolutely.
um,
And that's the way to do it. So you were just more of a lead by example than the vocal guy.
yeah, I mean, you can only
I dig it.
you can only do so much. I mean, leading by example, I think, is the best way to try to lead other guys to be great at wrestling.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
I couldn't agree more. And like you said, like whenever you got the coaching staff that's sitting in Pitt, like let them do the talking, let them do the things. Whenever if I'm a freshman, I'm coming in and I got Cole Matthews and like you said, even like Mickey and Nino, just everybody like that you just named, Wetzel, and I'm just gonna follow suit. I'm gonna look over and if they're grinding and busting it, then
Yeah,
I gotta I'd want to just as much as I want to impress the coaching staff. Like you guys have built such a resume for yourselves that like I want to impress you just as much. You know what I mean? Like so I agree. Like that is the best way, in my opinion, to lead by example.
yeah. And when I came in, though, it wasn't like, uh, I mean, there was a culture change, but like I didn't have to like step in and like be somebody I wasn't. It was like the coaches and the older guys at the time were like, "This is the way it's gonna be. It's not gonna be like that. Half-ass everything. Just hope it works out for you. But
Yeah.
I mean, I fell into a good culture, so I'm lucky for that.
And bro, and you could tell though because the growth, like, and I guess the reason why I say you could tell was just because I watched like you just grow into this wrestler, like to like you're a national championship contender the last 2 3 seasons. Like it's like you're there. I mean, obviously starting off the season ranked one last year. Uh, I'm not sure where they got. I didn't even look to see where they got you starting this season. But like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because that number, like we already know what you are, who you are, and you're a national championship contender. And I know that's the goal, especially to go out last season on top, go bring one home to Pitt. And
That's the
I
plan.
know, yeah, and I know that's the ultimate goal. And when I really sat down and looked at it, like even the people that's coming back, like I, bro, like you've beat you've beaten everybody. Like everybody that's even coming back, like the real Woods is like that you've ran with all these guys. Like
Yeah.
so it's nothing that you haven't already done. So I'm definitely excited for you. And how is that feeling though? I mean, just knowing this is it, man. Like folk style career, this is the last all these years you've been doing it since you was a kid. This is the last year for folk style ever, and that's got to be a crazy feeling.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. Um, it's kind of sad when you think about it, but I mean, everything comes to an end. So I'm just trying to enjoy it and just take it take it one day at a time. Take it all
Yeah,
in.
yes, I dig it, bro. How's that knee feeling? Honestly, what made me like, because I was looking at all your, so like right now you got a career of like, in my opinion, I look at all of this, all the years, even your red shirt year. I mean, 15-1. But as weird as this might sound, your red shirt sophomore year, when you go 7-7,
Hmm.
but you qualify for the NCAA. Well, with a when you had a torn ACL
Yeah. Um,
and or was fighting through like an ACL injury, right?
yeah. So that's when the season started on January 1st. So we didn't have that November and December to like kind of get acquainted back to like making weight, wrestling again, and then like doing it every weekend. But it was end of January that year is when I tore it, and then I just decided to keep wrestling through it because it didn't hurt as bad after a week. Like after I tore the ACL, it didn't hurt as bad, but it was still definitely weaker. But it was definitely like you could wrestle with it.
That's crazy. And honestly, I didn't even know it. Like, it wasn't something that was really well known until I like started really digging into it. Like things for this, I was just like, what? Like he's nuts. Like, and I mean, you take third at the ACCs that year, like with that situation, and it's just it's something that like you went and you qualify for the NCAA's. You beat, gosh, who was it? Kid from Ryder in the first
Yeah,
round.
Mackenzie Bell.
Yep, 17-3,
Yeah,
and then you go to Jaden Ironman the very next and have a overtime match with him that was just probably my opinion, it was the match of the tournament. Like it was just such a fire match, and like especially with what you were dealing with that high, just high caliber of a competitor. I mean, Jaden's just a funky, twisty dude, and then here you are sitting with him in the second round at the NCAA's rough draw. Because I mean, Jaden with your knee pulling
hmm
him in the second, but I mean, hey, you're going to come across him eventually if you want that, if you want to be on top. So I respect it, but at the end of the day, like, bro, like honestly, it might be my favorite season of yours just for that. Like, I know whenever you look at like, these ACC championships and an All American, and I can understand why people would, but like, I feel like that season really tells like who Cole Matthews is. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
what he is like, and that's why I love it so much. It was like
I-
yeah, it just is. It just speaks volumes of who you are, your character, the way that you wrestle, and you got to have love for the sport to be able to do that.
yeah. I mean, you can't if you have the option to wrestle an NCAA tournament, no matter how hurt you are. It's like, I mean, you only get four, so it's like you got
You
to
got to take,
you
got
got
to
to
take.
option.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
I mean, with all these guys, because I mean, you've had Bo Bartlett, Dylan D'Amelio, Real Woods. I mean, just the list goes on. I mean, 141 is stacked. And out of all them boys, like, is there one that like really sticks out? It's like, man, for my last year, I just hope I cross him. Like, I hope that I can. I want to get him. Like, is there anybody in that weight that's like after these years of sitting at it that you just want to go get this guy one last time?
Uh, I don't think so. I don't really head
No,
up that now. Uh,
I
now
dig it though.
just kind of
Just
like
whoever steps in front of you, that's that guy, huh?
that's how it's always been. Now it's like whoever's in
I
front of you,
believe that.
you don't want to look too far ahead because then you make it more complicated than it is. But it's like whoever's
Whoever lines up.
whoever the next weekend is, it's like that. I don't really, I don't think of guys like that. But
I'm excited actually, bro, because like I live in Ohio now, and you guys got Ohio State like early on in the season. You guys are coming to Columbus,
hmm
and if Mendez goes 41, they're talking. I don't know if they're Olympic red shirt or not, but like such an amazing match. Like two of my favorite wrestlers in college wrestling. So like I'm gonna be in Columbus, so you can guarantee that. Like I'm excited as heck for it because like I just think it'll be a phenomenal match. He's doing some amazing things. You put you in the mix with what you do, and it's just like man, how that's. I'm definitely looking early on in the season. Like that's definitely one I'm looking forward to. Have
yeah,
you I mean, you've been a lot of places, wrestled a lot of places. I mean, is Pitt the best place you've ever wrestled? Like, is being at that home inside of the home arena, or have you been traveling, like been to outside of your home arena?
Yeah. Um,
What's a good one?
I would say, I mean, nothing's better than home. Everyone
Right,
can agree on
I
that.
agree.
Yeah, there's nothing better than wrestling at home. But I would say nationals. I mean, nationals are just different. You don't get that feeling. At least I've heard you don't get that type of feeling like under the lights in front of thousands of people. Like that only comes what every year if you got four national tournaments. So it's like that feeling of wrestling nationals is it's awesome.
I could imagine, bro. Especially in the semifinals, man. Like when you're sitting there, you're in the semifinals. You're one match away from being able to go toe to toe with like you. I mean, you were there, bro. Like you were one match away, and this year I think you're gonna break that barrier. But like, because your junior, I guess would be your redshirt junior season. Like that's really where I feel like you let it out, man. Like you take fifth. Like you ended up winning that ACC championship. You beat Ryan Jack 3-2 in the finals. And then even after the season, you go do your thing at the U23s and beat D'Amelio 2 out of 3. You taking both matches. Like, and do you have aspirations for freestyle after this season?
Yeah. So the plan is to train through 28 and try to make a world team
I
and
like
stay at 65 kilograms.
good man.
Mm-hmm.
I like that a lot. How much has Pletcher brought to the table? Like with him, because he was your weight at Ohio State. He comes back home, Latrobe boy, and he jumps on the Pit wrestling staff, and he's right there with you. Like how much has he helped in your progression and just brought to the room in itself?
Yeah. So the first year he comes in, he just beats up on me for weeks at a time. Which I mean, we wrestled in the dual meet the year that nationals got canceled, and he beat the hell out of me there too. But I mean, he's brought a lot of good energy. I mean, just having him as a practice partner is like it's incredible. He was the best guy coming out of college that year, and it was like they brought this guy in for the lightweights for someone like me, and then the year after is when I had that good year. So it just shows that someone like Pletcher bringing someone in at your weight, it's like just being in the practice room is more than enough to get you to jump levels, you know. So
Yes, sir.
partners means a lot for wrestling. It's like him coming in and just beating the hell out of me. I mean, Drew was probably still beating me up at the time too. So yeah, Drew has an age today.
That's crazy too, man. That's awesome to hear that he's still getting doing his thing though. That's awesome.
Good for Drew. I mean, he
Yeah,
he doesn't age.
and I wouldn't want to see it any other way. That's for sure. Especially to get down with you guys like that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
But how you feeling about the new this new 3-point takedown deal? Is something you're a fan of? Something you're kind of like, hey, just stick folk style to folk style. I've got a lot of different answers with this.
yeah. Um, I don't I don't know yet. I guess we'll have to see. I haven't wrestled a match with it, but uh,
Right, right.
it's like you still gotta get a takedown usually to win a match. So um, I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
really know. I don't
I get you
like
there.
it. I don't think it's gonna help, but it's like it is what it is.
And I agree. Like I think some people say, hey, it's going to lead to more offense. Some people are like, hey, just keep wrestling the way that it is. Because I mean, the NCAA wrestling, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like the Nationals is, and this ain't nothing. I'm a folk style guy though. Like if somebody was like, hey, the World Championships are on, or the Olympics are on, or the Nationals are on, or Iron Man's on, or whatever the case may be, the highest level Super 32s, whatever. Uh, I would watch the Nationals all day, not a question. Put them on, like, bro. Those are the 3 best days. Like, they're Christmas for me. Like,
For me too.
I yeah, I love it, bro. Like, and it's something that's like, man, I hope. hope they don't try to go and flip everything to freestyle. I hope like because that's like honestly like my biggest fear. Like I don't want like because I've heard it talked about so much. Like hey, if we just switch everything or freestyle, and it's like no, don't do that. Don't do that.
I don't think they ever will. I think they'll keep changing the folk style rules to like I don't know, I guess attract more of an audience, but I don't know. I don't think they'll ever change it to freestyle. I think it's just too far gone at that point.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, and I wouldn't want it to because I was like, that's home, man. Like it's how we started. Like we wouldn't be where we were, but man, I tell you what, it really translated for you. Like I watched you and D'Amelio get at it, and he would get to your legs, and like your lifts are like you. It's honestly Dake like. You know how Dake, like, if anybody gets in, he's boom, I got you for
Yeah.
two. Like, and you just every time he'd get in, and like I was thinking it was deep. Like I'm like, oh, he's in deep, and then it was like, no, God, like
Yeah,
all day.
I've been wrestling freestyle since I was probably like 10 years old. So I mean, I've had that feel for years now. Like I like crotch locks, I like head pinches and stuff like that. So I mean, it just
It shows.
really for freestyle.
It definitely shows, bro. It definitely. Now, last season, like, all right, so you got your your redshirt junior year, you go in, you take fifth at nationals, you all American, you got to be feeling good coming into last year. You come back, have ranked number one in the country. You go 19-1 during the season, and then you did your thing. You get to nationals, and to be honest with you, like whenever I look at it, like man, you had just you get Bo Bartlett 3-2. He get like a 1 point match.
Mhm.
Get and then I think it was D'Amelio, and
Or,
I'm not sure what the score of was that, but you get to the quarters, so you go 2-2,
mhm.
and and I know like I guess I hate to bring up that bad like you know what I mean because I know you wanted more and like you come in
Mhm.
as the three seed like so I ain't trying to
No, I can
bring
answer.
up anything yeah like it's just more or less like coming into this season, like, does that kind of motivate you to be like, hey, like, we can't let this happen. This is, how does that play a factor into this season, or does it at all, or is it kind of like, hey, put that, it's done, it's over, new season, new deal. It ain't motivation, it ain't nothing.
Yeah, so I think it's the last part you said. So I wrestled two tournaments after nationals. I was at Vegas and then U23s. Um, and it's like I wasn't thinking about it there, so it's not like I'm gonna try to drag that season-ending sadness to the new season, you know. So I think I got rid of it back in June, moving on to another tournament, which I really wanted to compete bad after nationals because I was like, can't, I can't stand this. But the Bartlett match, I, I was having issues for a couple weeks. I was like, I can't sleep thinking about this because there was like 4 seconds left. He took me down in overtime after I could have just ran away, you know. But it is what it is. I'm
Like, and yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, and because that's why I was like, man, why even bring it up? But at the end of the day, like I was like, man, I just didn't know if like you use like some people use it for fuel, some people use like just hey, like drop it, forget about it. Like, but I was just kind of curious because like after having such an amazing run the year before, and then and it wasn't like I mean, D'Amelio's a monster, Bo's a monster. Like that, like I said, 141's just it's loaded. Like it's such a weight class with it's got 10 guys that could win the nationals. I think 141 and 165 are the two nastiest weight classes in college wrestling. That's just my personal opinion.
Mhm.
But you hold your own with it. You always have.
Yeah. I mean,
Everything you do, really,
yeah,
bro.
try.
Yeah, you should be very proud of it, man. Because I tell you, like, as somebody that's just meeting, like, I never met you a day before today, like, but just, I mean, being that Western PA boy, like, doing your thing, like, I'm proud of you, big dog. Like, you came from an area that, like, wrestling's heavily, it's a center point of wrestling, and you don't place 4 times. It's not an easy thing to do to place two state championships on top of placing in the top three, a second place and a third place through high school. I mean, like you're you can go other places, other outside of Pitt, like you're getting recruited heavily. Then you come to college and honestly, like, just jump levels every year. Like, honestly, like, I'm excited to see where you're at this year because it's like, how do you jump a level? Like, especially from like that redshirt junior year, like, and they really hyped up to you. How was that whole situation? What was that? Where you and Real Woods went at it the very beginning of the season, kicked off the season last year.
So it was supposed to be at the NWCA. Is it might be NWCA All Star Classic, but then
Yeah.
Woods had to drop out for some reason. I don't remember why, but then Alirez stepped in, and then I had a overtime match with Alirez, and then he took me down in overtime.
And this is the man that won the national championship. So like that's how close this whole 141 is. That's crazy. But I remember because you're right, Woods did drop out. But was that at least a good venue? Like was it a good setup? Pretty cool to be a part of.
Yeah, no, it was a great experience, and it's like that's a once in I guess I guess now for me it's a once in a lifetime thing, to compete in it. So I was that Flo offered it to me, and then uh, Pletcher and Coach Gavin go down. That was a good time, but it would have been better if I would have won. But
For sure, but I mean, bro, like you're like these everybody like you're talking like whenever you do look at the losses, they're all Americans or national champs. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So it's you're there. You're there. It's and I hope you put it together so bad this year, bro. I really do. I hope that you walk out with what you want, big guy, because I feel like you've had to put in the work. There's no question in my mind that you have. Like I don't even gotta ask just because like it shows on the mat. So I
yeah,
really that's why I was like, man, I want to get him on the show because I really like I've watched you for gosh probably the last 8, 9 years of your career. So
yeah,
it's like I get to see who Cole Matthews is on the mat, and a lot of people do. And a
mm,
big reason why. So it's like, how is he off of it, man? And just to be honest, like what I get from you, bro, is like you were laid back. You look like, hey, this is what it is. What's ahead of me? You tackle it one day at a time. And I'm just like a chill, laid back guy that just loves what I do.
yeah. I guess I could pride myself on being laid back. Sometimes too laid back.
Okay, yeah.
That's fun.
But that's the vibe. That's the vibe that I get. But I like it though. It's like I did one with Anthony Ferrari yesterday and 180, bro. Very
Yeah, I don't know if me and him have a lot in common. No.
No, I would say no. Both good people. Both very good people, but just two completely different human beings.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, that's the vibe I get from you, man. It seem real chill, man. Definitely my type of guy. So,
I appreciate
and how much I guess coming into this season, like, have you changed anything up? Is there something that's like, hey, all right, I from getting fifth to get me on the podium, like, was there a certain part of your game that you felt like, man, I got to work on, getting better at whether it's neutral, whether it's ground, whether it's top, like, was there something you felt like, hey, I got to get better? Was it a mindset? Like,
Yeah, so it's been like, you're always working on something, right? Nothing's ever like good enough.
yes,
So
sir.
I think everyone can agree with that. But I've been working on scoring, which a lot of my matches are close, and I do pride myself on being good at being hard to take down, but I can't let that be my whole thing. So mentally and in the room, just being okay with getting scored on if I'm opening up positions, because I'm pretty good when it comes to like getting myself in wrestling positions. I
One of
can
the best at.
I can win a lot of matches if I put myself in spots where I can open up and he opens up, and then I find a way to score. So just being okay with giving up points, I guess, and like uh, getting in those real wrestling positions, other than just like making it hard for him to score. Because then that's what happened last year in the West Virginia match. Whenever it was just 1-1, and then he sneaks me late with a super duck, and it's like there's no time left to figure it out.
To
So
make it up. Yeah.
mm. Yeah, so
But
just
when you're on your offense, though, like there's nobody in the country better. Like whenever you are firing, whenever you're firing, and you're and you can tell, like you get in the flow of it. Like there's nobody. It's crisp. It's clean. It's there's like a dog in you. Like it's just like man, that offense is a beautiful thing whenever it gets rolling, bro. It's literally one of my favorites to watch.
thank you. Yeah. So if I could just put myself in that situation more, then things would be much better.
Yeah, 100% points on the board and because it does seem like that, but at the end of the day too though, like when I really view it and I look at it like these close matches that you have, it's not like I mean, you got Ryan Jacks, you got Bo Bar, the names we've already been talking about. So I mean, it's just such a like, how big of a difference was all right, so you come out, I mean, you're coming out of Western PA, so you you already know good wrestling. You already had good opponents. Whenever you first came into the NCAA's coming out of Western PA,
Huh.
how big of a difference was it? Was it a shock? Like, whoa, like this is like a whole different. Like I heard Nick Feldman say it, and this is the reason why, because he was like, man, this was like honestly jumping, and he went to Malvern Prep, PA kid, goes to Ohio State, and he's like, it was like lightweight and learning a new sport. Like it's not, but it was just like meaning huge level change. Was it like that for you when you first jumped into it?
Yeah, I mean, let me think. So the getting out on bottom was an issue at first. Uh, Everyone tries to ride you, so it was like in high school you could just stand up and I mean there was
You
zero
got your point.
yeah zero effort in high school to get out, but everyone's gonna try hard in college, so it's like you gotta find what you like and stick to it when you're on bottom. Um, and on my feet, I would get out of my stance a lot in high school. I think I've gotten a lot better at staying in my stance, hands up, you know. And the same thing I've been trying to work on is actually scoring more points. So it's like even throughout these last 5 years, going into my sixth year, it's like I'm still working on the same things that everyone else is working on. It's like staying in your stance, getting out on bottom consistently, trying to ride hard. It's like, yeah, that's what it is.
I like it. But I can appreciate that though, and a lot of people say it's the exact same answer though, man. Like really getting out on bottom. Like I've watched specific schools, literally like the entire like 125 to heavyweight, be amazing neutral wrestlers, and then you get put them on the bottom, and it's like fellas, like you got to get to work on the bottom game. Like you got like nobody's getting out. Like well, it's but it's a different level, like you said. Like you're getting that point, so people's trying to ride you. They want to get that minute of riding time. So it ain't more or less like, hey, let's kick them. And whenever you guys were at the level you are, it's like, hey, kick them anyway, so I can just get to my because my opinion, like your best is I love you like you're neutral. Like that's why I think honestly the 3 point takedown is going to benefit you because I think I love like I just think you're a dog on your feet and you're gritty and you got a scrambling ability. You're that kitchen sink guy, bro. Like you just don't know what he's gonna throw. He can get it.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
I
I
got
think it's gonna benefit
stuff. Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Hmm.
But man, I definitely am excited for the future for you, bro. Especially for the freestyle. And how did you feel with that U23? Just to touch base on it real quick, because I see you're outside, man. I don't want to keep you all cold up. So, but
I'll be
I
out.
just, but I did want to touch on your U23 experience, man. Like once you got the spot, like how did things go?
Yeah. So won the tournament, and then Yanni 2 weeks later won Final X, and I was like, oh, cool. So he's just gonna do senior worlds because he was U23 eligible at the time,
Yeah.
and then he posted something saying like I'm gonna do. I don't know how he said it, but he goes, I'm gonna do U23s and seniors, and U23s is a month after senior world. So
Right. I
and
didn't.
I was like, damn, I guess.
Do
Uh,
you lose your spot?
yeah, I lost my spot, but I guess it was never my spot, like qualification wise.
Yeah, I don't like that though. Like, and if you're a seniors, like yeah, there's a lot of things I don't like about that. But
Yeah, it's
um,
different. but it was the rule set it, and it still is at the
Yeah.
time. So, um,
Yeah, hopefully they change that because at the end of the day, like you went through a tournament that you won and you beat some really damn good wrestlers and you had it was dude, I was in Myrtle Beach watching it. I like that's how much I remember it because like
yeah,
I watched you and D'Amelio the whole time and D'Amelio had a heck of a tournament. You guys were just
hmm
rocking everybody. Then you meet in the finals and like it, even those were good matches, even though like you handled it very well
yeah,
and love Dylan though, big fan of Dylan, and I just feel like you should have had that opportunity, especially with him wrestling at the senior level the month before, and like I just feel like you put in a lot of work to get that spot. That's why I'm just
yeah.
I don't I.
I did end up
I don't
getting.
even know if I'm him if I do that to you. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
hey man, I'd probably be like, I'm gonna let this man get his spot, man. He earned it.
Did you hear what happened? I mean, he ended up backing out, so I had to go on like a 4 week notice. I mean, I didn't have a passport, so I was like, so I had to go get a passport, like expedited, and then me and Drew headed out there, and I won a match, but I mean, I
Yeah,
was,
but you're on a
yeah, I
you're
was,
you're you're heading to a world like these guys are some of them are senior level guys, you know what I mean? And then you get 4 weeks of training and it's like, hey, I'm in, hey, I'm out, hey, I'm in. Like,
mhm, yeah, but
wow.
still awesome. I still had the opportunity, and
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was,
definitely.
yeah,
And it's another thing to be proud of. Another thing we're proud of you for, bro, because like you putting that US singlet on me and you hold it down for all of us. So we wouldn't want anybody else there. And I hope they figure something out with that because why even run the U23 weight? Like I would be like, well, let's see if the senior level guy wants it before we even waste these guys' time. Like
yeah,
and maybe it ain't because it's like it's still wrestling. You're still getting better. You still got good competition. But it's like I don't know the view on it. It just feels like a lot of hard work and time and dedication and going up to the tournament and then getting it done to be like, nah, you're not gonna. He's gonna take the spot. And then wow, yeah, that was. I didn't know all that went down. I knew you went. That's why I was just like, what? Wait, how am I missing something? But then when you said Yanni backed out, so man, you really weren't even, you quit training for it, probably, you know what I
yeah.
mean, for a while, yeah.
Well, I guess I
Damn,
did
bro.
stop for a month, but we were already starting preseason again, so it was like I was getting
Yeah,
ready for.
because it's,
Oh,
wait, U23s are like the end of this month, ain't they?
yeah,
Yeah. So it's like you got like 2 weeks once you come back for the season start, 3 weeks. It's like middle of November, beginning of November. I mean, you could miss the first couple of whatevers because it really don't start rolling until January, December, January. But I mean, you still got a couple matches in November and stuff. So yeah, that was just an all around bad situation, brother. I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
yeah. No, I mean, it was awesome for me. I still got to go.
Good. Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you got to go because you deserve to. You
Thanks.
did, and I don't. Even if you would have went like and dropped one and was done, like you still
Yeah,
should have been there. Period. Like, and you should have been able to. Is that the first time you've ever got to go overseas and do your thing?
yeah. So that's I mean, that was the first
Yeah,
like
that's awesome.
U.S. competition. So I mean, it was pretty sweet.
Heck yeah, that is. That is, man. That definitely is.
Hmm.
And I'm glad that you're going after 28s. I'm glad to hear it because like I don't want this to be the last year I get to watch Cole Matthews wrestle, bro. Because I'm telling you, like you have such a such a style to you, and honestly, even just getting to talk to you here for 40 minutes, bro, like it makes me an even bigger fan just because it's like the way you view things, like you're like just who you are as a person. It's like yeah, man, I already been watching you for 8 years because I was a fan, and now I just like now I'm really I'm really hoping you can even get that spot in 2028 or even a world championship before that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, that's what I'll be training for after this year.
Good man. I'm glad to hear you're staying grinding and they keep eating. I heard you got a sponsor though, Pittsburgh, some food sponsors down there, huh?
Yeah, I got it from Manny's deal. A little something,
That's
something.
awesome, bro. That's awesome. And that's the guy you gotta get them for Manny's. And I seen you took Flow down to it. I was like, my God, just hold it down for the city, bro. I love it.
It was awesome. I mean, for Manny's, whenever NIL started, I just sent them an email, and they've been cool with me ever since, and they give me free food. I love it.
Can't beat it.
Yeah,
Can't beat it. And it's you, man. I mean, you can't. When people think of Pittsburgh, like they think Permanis comes with that top, like one of the like you got. you know, the Steel City, you got the Steelers, you got, Pitt, and then you got Permanis. Like that's what Pittsburgh, some pierogies.
In wrestling.
And wrestling for sure, for sure. We already know that.
Mm-hmm.
But man, but hey, bro, I'm definitely gonna let you get in and get warm, and I'm honestly cool. Thank you, bro. I definitely appreciate you taking this just 40 minutes sitting down, talking, just kind of letting your career and your little story on how you've gotten where you've gotten and what the future plans are with me, bro. It's definitely been a blessing for me, man, because I've definitely been a huge fan for a long time, and just kind of being from the same neck of the woods type deal, and it's definitely been fun for me. So I definitely appreciate you, big guy.
Yeah. Well, anytime. Whenever you want me back,
Well,
come on back.
hey, bro, I was just gonna say after we win that national championship this year, I'm calling it back,
Even sooner. I'll get back on here sooner.
my man. I can
Yeah.
appreciate it, bro,
I,
more than you know, for real.
thanks for having me, though.
Yeah, Nate, no problem at all. And we'll definitely keep in touch, man. We'll stay linked up, and actually, because yeah, honestly, whenever I'll be down in Pitt for a match, but just for jumping on, man, I got something I want to just something little, just a little shirt thing, but just to say thanks for
Yeah.
taking the time.
Thank you. Appreciate
Hey,
it.
not a problem, yeah, not a problem at all. But
Hmm.
you have yourself a good night, man. Make sure you stay healthy and go show the world why you're number one, bro.
You know I will.
Man, all right, big dog. Take care.
See you, boss.
Later, bro.
See ya.
Cole Matthews, man. Been watching that kid since he was sophomore in high school. So I just, and I'm not kidding you. Like I'm not. I don't just say this shit to bullshit you guys. Like or him or anybody. Like what I loved about Cole was like I seriously turned on Flow. Never heard of him. Never anything. And I'm watching this blonde haired kid. He had longer hair back then, but like just was dogging people. And I was just like, man, I mean, just like it was like a man versus kids. Like, and you got to realize, I think back then he was like 132 or something. Like, it was just, which was in high school, man. That's always been a tough weight class. But he was just a whole nother level, and it just made me such a fan to where I I literally had just been like, man, I got to keep following this kid. So like on Flow, like every time he'd come up, I'd make sure that like I'd get a notification on the phone, and uh, but that's this is the first time, and we grew up. We're both from around Pittsburgh area. Moved back to Ohio now, so I mean, but at the end of the day, so definitely root for him, man. Gotta root for anybody that's from that area because it's just home city at the end of the day. So big fan. And you guys, I mean, y'all seen it right there. I mean, he just you don't get more laid back, chill, just ready. Like you could tell his eyes are set forward, ready to take it on. And he's got his mind set on one thing and one thing only, and that's being on top of that podium. And we know we can do it. There's no reason why he can't. You know what I mean? So I hope he gets it, man. I really do. I think if there's that weight class is rough. Like it's definitely deep. Like 165 is deep, and like we've talked about before, but 141, man, when you really dive into it, it's deep. And now you're adding a Jesse Mendez to it, which is it's going to be a fun match down in Columbus when Pitt heads down there. Definitely excited about that one. But anyway, cool. Definitely appreciate it, man. If you watch this, thank you, brother. Uh, hope he gets out on top of that podium. And thank everybody else for watching us. Make sure you make that follow, hit that subscribe. Beckley Wrestling. We can keep coming. We're not stopping anytime soon, and we appreciate and love y'all. Take Have a good night.